So we've gotten a lot of things done today, but now comes a really fun part, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Storyfest.
All right. Finalists, raise your hands. Let's see where our finalists are. Okay, so let me start by saying, wow. Right?
Incredible.
Right?
I'm shocked.
They were all great stories. The judges, and we have several of them, and some of them may be here today, really went through them in detail. Should we shout the judges out by name?
Oh, absolutely, especially if they are here. Where am I?
Go.
Yeah.
So,
Phil Frank.
We'll just race through them. Phil Frank, Elizabeth Joy Hertzfeld-Kemperth,
Gina Murphy-Darling.
Laura Risi,
Teak Root.
John Sutter,
Melanie Wallace.
Deepti Bansal-Gage,
Jake Myers.
and a huge thanks to our chair, the judge's chair, Larry Evans. So can we thank our judges, please?
Thank you. Yeah.
Each story was judged with a very specific rubric.
Yes.
Right? This was not just some random thing.
Actually, and it wasn't playing favorites. We were looking for creativity and compelling use of the specific format.
Storytelling and presentation. How is the video used? How are the photos used? How is the writing done?
Editorial quality, the clarity of information, and factual accuracy.
Which included data, how data were used, science references took place, and finally, impact and engagement, the potential for impact of the idea, the impact of the story. So lots of really good things.
Amazing,
Yeah,
really exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to call some friends up from Lindblad Expeditions in just a minute and do this, but we should point out that we've had this competition for quite some time, and we've gone some pretty cool places.
We've been to some really cool places.
We like to call them storytelling expeditions.
Storytelling expeditions. Don't tell my colleagues upstairs, they'll be a little jealous. But we've had an opportunity, I think my first trip that I went on, shout out to also Dan Reed, I thought I saw him earlier, went to Southeast Alaska. And I love that story because one of our students who was on that trip, Alex Rubenstein, is currently a National Geographic and Lindblad Expeditions storyteller.
This one was from the Galapagos. I think you were on that trip.
I was. Galapagos, that's Samora, Alaska, Iceland, and this year we have coming up. Frank, you want to tell them where the opportunity
We'll be going back to Galapagos and to Iceland. We'll have two separate trips going out. And we call this a storytelling expedition, so not only are our finalists winning the prize, but they will tell stories from these locations, and we will share those stories next year as we did this year. So, why don't we ask Amy Berquist and Isabella Lindblad to come and join us.
Thank you.
Come over here. Come over here. Okay, thank you. So Amy Berquist, you've worked with us for quite some time.
Hi.
And thank you. And just tell folks what you do very briefly at Lindblad.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. This is always the most exciting part of this. I'm the Vice President for Conservation, Education, and Sustainability at Lindblad, and my job really is to use travel as a force for good and make sure that the fact that we're taking people to these wild places is protecting the environment, supporting local communities, and we also love to support science and education aboard the ships.
Thank you. And Bella is related to the ships through Sven, who has been here with us in the past, but he couldn't make it today. So Bella, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, this year's trips will go to Iceland and to the Galapagos. So we've got several categories. We'll show you videos of each of the categories featuring the finalists. And we'll have the envelope, please.
Very Oscar-esque, very Academy Awards style.
Well, we hope so. And then if you're the winner, come on up. And just let me say again that all the finalists are winners. All of you have done amazing things and you're recognized in that way. And I can tell you from hearing back from the judges, this was not easy, right? It never is. But they had some roadmaps for themselves and here we are. So.
We're going to kick it off with the best written story by a media student.
Let's go apple picking. In Darian Benally's article from North Arizona University, discover how a community can fight food insecurity and keep their neighborhood clean, all while having fun at the same time. Home is more than just a place, an Eva Chilura and Andrea Pedamonte story from George Washington University that chronicles the threat of gentrification to a beloved affordable housing complex in Washington, D.C. Kathleen Frederick of Allentown, Pennsylvania is starting a new initiative to keep creepy dolls off the streets. In actuality, her litter collection program is a compelling model for neighborhoods all over the country, in this story from SUNY ESF's Abby Liebert. What role should civil disobedience play in climate action? A group of climate activists are testing the boundaries of legal arguments in this piece by Delalan Lee of the University of Connecticut. The power of young people is astonishing. George Washington University student Aya Mahana interviews the co-founders of Zero Hour, a student climate organization turning fear into action. Are goats the greatest of all-time wildfire mitigation technique? A company in Colorado is renting out a mob of goats to curb invasive species and wildfire fuel in this unbelievable story by Mason Owens of the University of Colorado, Boulder. Dune isn't just a desert planet with giant sandworms. It's actually a vital method of beach restoration in this story by Ashley Rodriguez of Northwestern University. Learn how nonprofits in Chicago are working to save the sands along Lake Michigan.
Okay, so how about that?
Okay, so the best written story by a media student goes to Dulalan Lee. Where's Dulalan?
Delan won for the climate necessity defense. Congratulations. How activists are using civil disobedience to fight climate change. The judges said Delian deserves commendation for taking on a complex topic, civil disobedience to fight climate change. She begins with an activist who failed in his use of the necessity defense and was sentenced to 2 years in prison. She moves into the focus of her story seamlessly, has a good flow, balance, and overview of the opportunities and challenges presented by this defense of civil disobedience. She did plenty of research and talked to many people, and her work paid off in a carefully and clearly written story. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You want them to stay here or stick out?
You
She
can,
wants us to do a photo.
We'll
oh.
put it there. So yes, if you could just
All right.
come down a little bit first. Thank you.
do we want to accompany her?
No, we'll
No?
do a photo at the end.
Just a solo photo. Okay, fine.
Won't be alone for long.
All right.
Next up.
The next one. So just to explain, what we did this year is we separated categories within categories, right? Because we have a best written story by a media student, someone who's maybe been storytelling throughout their college career or whatever, and best storytelling by a non-media student. That might be a biology student or a law student who actually hasn't done this before. And so the judges felt, and as we talked about this leading into this whole process, it might be really smart to divide these out and do 2 separate categories within each prize category. So the next up is the best written story by a non-media student.
Obafemi Awolowo University's Wole Adegbile takes us back in time to when the streets of his hometown were lined with fruit trees. In this story, discover the link between urban forestry and food security in Nigeria. Did you love playing Where's Waldo as a kid? You're in luck. Charles Crounce of Middlebury College introduces readers to a citizen science project where volunteers can help identify animals caught on candid camera. In this personal story of science and family, University of Minnesota's Mickey Garrity explores the many roles of the beaver for the Anishinaabeg people and beyond. Craving Colombian organic coffee in the morning? Specialty coffee growers in the South American country are struggling to get their product approved for sale in this story by Libby Moan of the Middlebury Institute of International Studies. When alarm sounded the arrival of Hurricane Irma, there was no question that Katie Russell of George Mason University would abandon her home, a sailboat she had grown up on her entire life. Her story demonstrates the vital need for communication during environmental disasters.
All right. Amy, best written story by a non-media student.
This is going to be a hard one. Let's see who got it. And The winner is Mickey Garrity.
The University of Minnesota. Come on up. So here's what the judges had to say about Mickey Garrity while Mickey comes up, and you can give Mickey the certificate as well. What the judges said, Mickey Garrity has written a compelling story about our relationship with the natural world and with each other. She begins by sharing a creation story of the Nishnabek people, story of the first man, the first teacher, first beaver. She describes how the beaver lives in the world and how we can learn from the beaver's example. It has not always been easy for the beaver. European colonists hunted the beaver nearly to extinction. The judges write, we found ourselves thoroughly engaged in Mickey's story, and we're thinking anew about our relationship with the natural world long after we finished reading her story. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Next up is Best Video by a Media Student.
Wondering about pollution's impact in your neighborhood? Join Avery Davis from George Washington University as she explores the environmental crisis facing Southeast DC. Listen in as 4 professors shared their research and insights on addressing the pollution's toll on the area. Ever wished for more green spaces in your city? Des Lewis from Florida State University explores rewilding urban areas, an initiative to tackle climate change while fostering a deeper connection between communities and the natural world. In the heart of the Sonoran Desert, the saguaro cactus faces unprecedented challenges from climate change and urban sprawl. Jason Marmon and Daniel Stepanovich from Arizona State University shed light on the struggle of this iconic species, urging for more collaborative efforts towards its preservation.
The fruit of the saguaro is now growing on the side of the saguaros, and that didn't used to happen.
Set sail and discover the history of the first Black Yacht Club, whose members are navigating not just the Anacostia River, but also the challenges of climate change.
If you fix the seafarer problem down here, you can fix all the problems.
Celeste Norian and Kate Bergen from George Washington University take us on a journey down the river, revealing how this historic club adapts to changing tides, both literally and figuratively.
Okay, best video story by a media student.
And the winner is, or I should say the winners are, Jason Marmon and Daniel Stepanovich from Arizona State University.
Right here? With us? Hmm? One of them is here. But maybe not in the room. Okay? Well, we'll save your certificate and your prize for another time. All right, so let's see. We are going to best video by a non-media student.
Abby Burgess from Dartmouth College explores the deep-rooted tradition of moose harvesting in Unama'ki. Experience community leaders sharing insights and aspirations, honoring the deep significance of this practice to Mi'kmaq communities. What can we do with single-use plastics? Beverly Indefoyne from Notre Dame University explores this question through Name Recycling's efforts to repurpose discarded plastics in Cameroon. Dive into the enchanting world of giant clam farming in Kosrae, Micronesia, with Micah Seidel from Rutgers University. Join local guardians of the ocean as they cultivate an endangered species of giant clams, bringing life back to the reefs. Turn your outdoor adventures into environmental action. Join Farron Tyron, a student at the University of Guam, on a mission. From freediving to rock climbing, he's rallying adventurers to tackle trash cleanup and save the planet, one outdoor escapade at a time.
Going away.
Goodbye! Discover the cultural significance of the pinon pine to the Dene people and the tribal communities across the Southwest. Join Najoni Talas from the University of Arizona as she sheds light on the importance of pinon picking and urges action to protect this cherished species from the impacts of climate change.
Wow. This is getting harder, not easier. There you go.
I know, and I have to say I'm not a judge, so I'm just the messenger here. I wish I could give everyone a prize on this one. The best video story by a non-media student goes to Micah Seidel from Rutgers University.
Here's what the judges said about Micah's piece. Micah Seidel takes viewers to a place most have never been, a giant clam farm in Micronesia. Drone footage gives geographic context to this distant paradise, and a well-planned combination of original and acquired footage explain the intertwined plights of giant clams, corals, and entire marine ecosystems. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Let's go to Best Multimedia Story by Media Student.
Laura Isaza and Sachi Kitajima-Moki from the University of California, Berkeley unravel the complex tale of Alto Maipo, a controversial hydroelectric project in the Chilean Andes, and reveal how it permanently altered the landscape and livelihoods of local communities. Skylar Kim from the University of Connecticut takes readers down the Charles River in Massachusetts, where invasive water chestnuts were no match for community members taking matters into their own hands. Ever wondered how scrolling through social media could save the planet? Join Emma Montgomery from Texas Tech University as she unravels the digital world of climate content creators, trying to change the world one post at a time.
And I was like, I think I could do this. I think I could create short-form social content that's about climate education or sustainable living.
Join Chris Zattering from the University of Arizona on a captivating audio-visual journey into the future of a climate-changed Tucson. Through narration, photography, music, and sound design, experience an immersive exploration of resilience, loss, and transformation.
You're getting good at this.
Okay, the best multimedia story by a media student. And the award goes to Laura Isaza and Sachi Kitajima-Moki from UC Berkeley.
They are not here with us today, but the judges said, I think, Imani, you've got that?
Oh, I do? Did I? Yeah. The judges, actually, this one? I'm like, do I have it? Yeah, I do have it. The judges said the added element of voices gives the viewer a feeling of actually knowing who is impacted by this environmental issue and is a type of storytelling that helps one learn more through local voices. One of our judges stated that as a Spanish speaker, it was great to hear the voices of the speakers interviewed firsthand.
Brilliant. Okay. Now we have multimedia by a non-media student.
Kimberly Blevins of Sitting Bull College explores the challenges that Indigenous students have faced in higher education and STEM programs, laying out her thoughtful approach to empowering students to tackle the world's most pressing questions. The classic white picket fence green lawn might look manicured, but it's probably doing nothing to support your neighborhood's biodiversity. Learn what you can do in this story by Reagan Johnson of SUNY ESF. Is your closet filling up with long, forgotten garments from yesteryear? From SUNY ESF's Maggie Liddell comes a personal how-to guide on repurposing old clothes for sustainability and fashion. You're invited to the Spider Party. In this vibrantly drawn comic by Duke University's Joy Reeves, discover how citizen scientists are using spider webs to monitor air pollution. What does water conservation have to do with slapshots? Recycled rainwater used to create the ice for hockey rinks, of course. Learn what the world of sports is doing to become more sustainable in this story from SUNY ESF's Owen Volk. In 2021, a volcano erupted on the island of St. Vincent. Cameron Umack from Middlebury College takes readers inside the story of recovery and perseverance of the people most directly impacted by the event.
All right. Best multimedia story by a non-media student.
Another tough decision, I'm sure, for our judges. The winner of the Best Multimedia Story by a non-media student goes to Joy Reeves of Duke University.
Joy wins for the Your friendly neighborhood spider party. Here's what the judges said. One of the most impressive submissions we have seen during our collective time with Planet Forward. Clearly, so much effort went into this story, from the research to the process to build out the story with very impressive drawings. The editorial quality is top-notch. The three of us believe the attribution at the end that provided a way to engage the audience to act. This truly helps move the planet forward and gives the individual power to use what was learned. Congratulations.
Next is the Spotlight Award. This was awarded to the entrant whose submission most deeply highlights underserved communities with a focus on the extraordinary people who are innovating, leading, and inventing to address climate change, environmental degradation, and injustice in unhealthy communities. Amy?
And the Spotlight Award goes to Beverly Ndefoyne from the University of Minnesota.
Where's Beverly? Come on up.
Sitting very soft.
It's actually Notre
Notre
Dame University, but we'll that's okay. That's okay. Congratulations.
We got her name right.
Yes. It's fine. So let's see. What did our judges say?
Beverly's story expertly shows how one person can make a gigantic difference in their community. By profiling the innovative work of Naime Recycling in her home country of Cameroon, Beverly captures how one business can make a significant impact in the fight against plastic waste, pollution, all while creating new, useful products in the process.
And I should just say that Beverly is from Cameroon and started working with Planet Forward as a Mandela Fellow when she was here as a student and an intern a couple of years ago, and just kept producing stories and submitting them. So Beverly, that's awesome, and is at Duke University now. Our last award is the GW pick. This award goes to the submission that most clearly aligns with the mission and the vision of Planet Forward and our home base of the George Washington University. As a platform for sustainable solutions-based storytelling. So, Amy?
The final awardee today, and I think all the finalists really, that these works are fantastic. So one more round of applause for everybody. So the George Washington pick goes to Aya Mahana from George Washington University.
And Aya is not able to be with us today, but here's what the judges said about the story. Aya's story captures the fears, dreams, and energy of a group of young people who came together to create climate action. Aya chronicles the genesis of Zero Hour, whose members came from across the country to descend on Washington, D.C. for a historic climate march in 2018. Her story captures the power of young people to organize, have their voices heard, and create change. So congratulations to Aya. Why don't we pose for a picture over here? And while we do that, I'll just say again, should we pose for a picture? Yeah. We can get one picture, a group shot here.
So let's just slide down a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great.
The submissions were amazing, and we look forward to that, and we also look forward to thank you from our friends from Lindblad for our adventure this summer. Closer.
Tighten up. Make sure you can see the J's.
One more.